Hello and welcome to Strange Solution. My name is Darren, I'm your host, and I'm playing Arkham Horror the Living card game in Lackey CCG. So I have been playing Ursula Downs through the Dunwich Legacy or whatever. And I am now on I don't remember what this section is called all of a sudden. Give me 3 seconds here. Where Doom Awaits. Someone Where Doom Awaits. I need to pass this to move on. My goal at this point is if I pass this, I will likely do a live play. But I'm going to put this out there whether I pass or not, because this is sort of the most difficult one. I have done a couple playthroughs. I did really horrible on one, really great on one, so we'll see. Alright, let's just go ahead and get started. We start with Agenda 1A, calling forth the Old Ones. As you approach Sentinel Hill, you hear ancient Latin rites bellowed across the night. The time for action has come. If you cannot stop the sorcerers in Dunwich, who knows what terrors they might unleash upon the world. Act 1A, The Path to the Hill. A vibrant arcane energy fills the air with a bone-rattling chill. The energy swirls along the crushed trail before you and seeps down several other paths before disappearing. The Agenda 1A has a Doom threshold of 12. I do start off with 4 because I let 4 broods get away. And the objective on Path to the Hill is when investigators have collected the requisite number of clues, they must immediately spend them to advance. And I need 2 clues per investigator, so 2 in this case. Let's start off at the base of the hill. The base of the hill is a 3-shot location with 0 clues. Base of the hill is connected to each copy of Diverging Path. If you succeed instead of discovering, it has the action investigate, and if you succeed instead of discovering clues, put a random set-aside Diverging Path into play. Keep in mind that that has the investigate action on that card, so if you have like a flashlight that has the investigate action, you can't use both of those, so that's just a note. And then it has the action resign. It's more than I signed up for. We are not going to be taking that action. This is a do-or-die situation here. Alright, so let's go ahead and mulligan. Of course, we discard any weaknesses that we happen to draw. Professor Rice is probably going to actually be somewhat helpful. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and discard the No Stone Unturned, go ahead and discard the Laboratory Assistant and Logical Reasoning, and I'll keep the Emergency Cache and Professor Rice, and we'll draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Take our discard and shovel it back into our deck. I meant to say shuffle, not shovel. I'm not Yorick after all. Alright, so let's go ahead and get going here. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get, first action, we're going to go ahead and get Warren Rice out. That costs 3. Most of the cards are set up so when you play them they subtract, but like they didn't do that with the cards that come with the scenarios, which I think kind of makes sense, so that's why I had to subtract it manually. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and investigate at a 4-5 to 3. Oops, I don't have a chaos bag. So let's go into the deck editor. Let's load that. Let's go ahead and give it another shuffle. Okay, it's already been shuffled. Chaos bag is a -1. That's good, so that gets us a Diverging Path. Got them set up here in the Encounter 2 zone. Right, so my first action was to play Warren Rice, my second action was to investigate, my third action will be to move to this version of the Diverging Path. Now, going someplace with no actions is always bad. After you reveal the destroyed path, place 1 Doom per investigator on it. It has the action investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, remove 1 Doom from destroyed path. We'll go ahead and put a Doom on it, and we're going to trigger Ursula's reaction here to investigate at a 4-5 to 3. Chaos Bag. What do you have to say about that? That's a fail, because that puts me at 2. But that's okay. All right. Enemy phase, upkeep phase, we'll draw a card. Gain a resource. Add a Doom, which puts us at 6 out of 12. And we'll draw our first encounter card, which is an Obscuring Fog. I'm actually kind of okay with that. I really wasn't that worried about that Doom. The goal here is to just try and get the 2. So we will first action move back here. We'll use her reaction to investigate here at a 4-5 to 3. Chaos Bag. It's a -1. So that gets us a location out. Whoops. Use our next action, our second action, to move to that new diverging path, and we'll reveal it. I've got 1 action left. Forced. It is a 3-shroud location with 1 clue per investigator. It says forced when you reveal Frozen Spring, lose the remainder of your actions and immediately end your turn. Okay. Right. Enemy phase, upkeep phase. We'll draw a card. Gain a resource. That's Zebulon. We'll add a Doom. We're at 7 out of 12, and we'll draw an encounter card. Spaces between. Flip each non-sentinel hill. So I think I'm at a non-sentinel hill, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the clue. Flip it. This gets discarded. That's kind of the nice thing about that. Well, I guess to its owners, removing all clues from it. It doesn't specifically say Doom, but I would say that means Doom as well, because it is leaving. I don't know. Shuffle each one so the players don't know which is which. I'm going to put them in my weakness just temporarily. Each investigator and enemy will flip this way as immediately moves to the nearest sentinel hill location. Shuffle. Oh, I need to move here. Shuffle each non-sentinel hill so place them which is which. So I think I just put them back out at this point. So we'll put this one here. And this one here. And this gets discarded. Alright. Sort of the first time I would have ever really been in a place where I could use higher ed if I wanted. I am actually going to go ahead and use an action to play Emergency Cash. Since I kind of know that at least one of these is going to end my turn right away, we'll go ahead and move to the one at the top as my second action. Frozen Spring. After you reveal Frozen Spring, lose the remainder of your actions and immediately end your turn. Well, that's kind of what I thought would happen. Upkeep phase, I'll draw a card. Do! And I'll gain a resource. That's your signature weakness, Call of the Unknown. It is a task, but Call of Unknown to play in your threat area. Force. At the beginning of your turn, choose a location other than your location. When your turn ends, if you did not successfully investigate chosen location this turn, take 2 horror and shuffle Call of the Unknown back into your deck. This, in my opinion, may be one of the worst ones in the game, and I'll explain, because it's something you can't get rid of this, other than taking the damage, and then it just still gets shuffled back into your deck. Most of them have a way to get rid of them. This stays for the entirety of the game. Alright, well, we will add a Doom and draw an encounter card, which is Ancient Evil, so we'll add another Doom. Alright. Beginning my turn. Let's see. Let me think for just a second. 1, 2. I'm going to say Ascending Path. Okay. Alright, so we will investigate here at a 4. Oh, no, hold up, just a second. No, I won't. I'll say base of the hill, because I know this does not have a clue, and I need 2 clues to get this to advance. Alright, so I'm going to use my first action to investigate at a 4-5 to 3. I'm going to 5, 6, 7 to 3 using higher ed. -1, that's a success. I'll take that clue. I will use the reaction on Professor Rice to draw a card. Second action, I will move to the base of the hill, and I will investigate at a 4. I will use her reaction, 4-5 to 3. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. 5, 6, 7 to 3. That's 4, so that's a pass. So I'll put out another sentinel hill location. And I have 1 action left, which I will go to that location. So I'll have no actions, which kind of scares me. It is a 4, so as Eerie Glade, it is a 4-shot location with 1 clue per investigator. Forced after you reveal Eerie Glade, discard the top card of your deck for each action you have remaining. Well, I actually have none, so that kind of worked out in this particular case. Alright, so this is one of those times when it actually worked out. Alright, enemy phase, upkeep phase. I'll draw a card, gain a resource. We'll add a Doom. It's 9 out of 12. We'll draw an encounter card. I think I'm going to put this on this, because I have a feeling I'm going to get this clue real fast here. Pardon me, I'm so sorry about this, guys. Alright, so I will say with the Call of the Unknown, this time I am going to say the Ascending Path for Call of the Unknown. Alright, so we'll start off here with an Investigate. So this will be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 4. Chaos Bag. That's a -4, but that's a pass. We get that clue. We'll immediately spin those clues, because we have to flip this. This gets discarded. I'm going to mark here that I have 2 actions left so I can remember. Alright, let's put this back in the Chaos Bag. Alright. A sacrifice made. During your search through the wooded paths around base of Sentinel Hill, you come across a startling sight. A herd of sheep lies dead upon the ground in a secluded clearing, their bloodied carcasses placed in a strange but careful pattern. Holding your nose against the stench of death, you step over, mangled sheep in your way, to the center of an odd formation. In the center of the sheep lies the corpse of a man. A clear jewel has been firmly pressed into his forehead, caving in the front of his skull. His eyes are wide, his face contorted in a vision of fear, as if beseeching you for mercy. Though you know better, you check for a pulse. As you touch the man's skin, the jewel in his forehead dissolves, and the woods around you seem to clear. An arcane presence masking the path further up the hill has faded. Reveal Ascending Path. Remove all clues from each location in play. We'll move on to Act 2A. And this is version 3 based upon the setup instructions of my what I've done thus far. Ascending the hill. As you ascend the hill, the environment around you grows increasingly strange and otherworldly. The arcane energy feels even stronger here, crackling in the air and crawling on your skin. Clues cannot be placed on non-altered locations. When investigator enters Sentinel Peak, advance. Sentinel Peak has the phrasing as an additional cost to move into Sentinel Peak. The investigators must spend 2 clues per investigator as a group. Alright, let's go back to my hand. And we will go ahead and use our 2 actions to move back to base of the hill. To ascending path. And we will use her reaction to investigate. So this will be a... Did I do Warren Rice when I don't remember. So, oh no, that was last round. So this will be a 4, a 5 to 3, 5, 6, 7 from higher ed, 7 to 3. Yeah, I feel good about that. And that's good. That was a pass. 4 to 3. So we will put, so I satisfy that, and we will put in a, whoops, I need to remove one of these from the game. First one is going to be the one I removed from the game. Second one will be the one that I put in. Alright. Right. That's the end of my turn. Upkeep phase. I will draw a card. Gain a resource. I'll add a Doom to the agenda. We are 10 out of 12, and we'll draw an encounter card, which is Rights Howled. Revelation. Discard the top 3 cards of each investigator deck. Each investigator at an altar location shuffles his each weakness in his or her discard pile into his or her deck. Those are the top 3 cards. Okay. 1, No Stone Unturned. 2, Dr. Ellie. 3, a disc. I was kind of hoping to get a disc soon as well. So that gets discarded, and well, I'm not at an altar location, so it doesn't matter for the rest of it. Alright. For Call of the Unknown, I will say this Altered Path. I think first action, I'm going to put out Hyper Awareness. Second action, I will move to this version of Altered Path. A Terror in the Path. It is a 3-shroud location with 1 clue per investigator. Forced, after you reveal Terror in the Path, take 2 damage if you have no actions remaining. I do. I have 1 action remaining. I will use her reaction to investigate. So it'll be a 4, 5 to 3 to 3. Let's say 6, 7 using higher ed to 3. Chaos bag. That's a pass. Wow. This has been actually going pretty good for me here. I have 1 more action left. I'm going to go ahead and move back down to Ascending Path. Oh, hold up. I'm going to use the reaction on Professor Rice to draw a card. Ooh. Alright. That would not have changed my actions, actually. Okay. Enemy phase, upkeep phase, I'll draw a card. Gain a resource. Add a Doom. That should put us at 11 out of 12. It does. And draw an encounter card. It's a Dissonant Voices. That's a bummer. Now that's actually a bit of a bummer. Alright. Investigator phase. Ooh. Well, I'm going to say for Call of the Unknown, I'm going to say this Tear in the Path. Alright, so I'm going to use 2 actions to discard Psychosis. Then I'm going to investigate the Ascending Path. Yeah, I'm going to investigate the Ascending Path at a 4-5 to 3. 6-7 to 3. That's been kind of a sweet spot right there. That's a pass. Where are they? Oh, there. This will be another location here. Alright. As the end of my turn. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 horror, both of which I'm going to put on Professor Rice. And this goes shuffled back into here. I'm going to just go ahead and discard this because there's probably not going to be anything that's going to affect it. We'll draw a card, gain a resource, add a Doom, which puts me at 12, so I will flip this. The world is altered. As you explore the paths surrounding Sentinel Hill, the chanting at the hilltop rises to a crescendo and takes an otherworldly quality, reverberating through the trees as if carried by unseen currents. The world begins to change. The grass and trees dissolve like sugar in a cup of tea. A vast, endless sky slices through the reality you see before you, and you feel drawn to it, terrified and awestruck. The arcane power becomes distorted and seeps around you, creating strange alterations in the land. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. That's actually a little bit more this time. Alrighty. And we will go to the next agenda. I will say that is called Beckoning for Power, and it has a Doom threshold of 10, but I am not going to try and read all that. And my encounter card is Boo, Frozen in Fear. Alright. So, my turn. I'm going to start off by playing Logical Reasoning for 2 to discard Frozen in Fear, because it is a terror. So I have a clue. My next action is going to be to move to this altered path. I have 1 action left. Is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue per investigator. It says forced. When you reveal uprooted woods, discard the top 5 cards of your deck if you have no actions remaining. I do. I have 1 action. I will use her reaction to investigate. So this will be a 4, 5 to 2. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and spend a resource. 5, 6, 7 to 2. It's a -3. That's fine. I still get that clue. I have 1 action left. Or I'm going to go ahead and use Professor Rice to draw a card. Ooh, well, that might change things. My last action, I'm going to go ahead and play an emergency cache. Refill up some resources here. Alright, enemy phase, upkeep phase, I'll draw a card. Boo! And gain a resource. That is the Call of the Unknown again. We'll add a Doom to the agenda. And we will draw an encounter card. Visions of Futures Past. It is a hex. Revelation test willpower 5. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of the deck. So this is going to be a 3 to 5. I'm going to go ahead and use Higher Ed to make myself 5 to 5. And I will discard a Guts to make myself a 7 to 5. 8, 9 to 5. 9 to 5. Sorry, I should wait. Chaos Bag is a -4. Good thing I did that. I still pass, so I get to draw a card from Guts, which I will discard first, then I'll discard that, and then I'll discard that. Alright, almost too late for this one. Alrighty. Did I not ready? It doesn't matter. Alright, so I will now say Sitting. Give me a second here. So I've got 3 actions. I could put that. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to move once I get there. Oh, I'm going to say Sentinel Peak for Call the Unknown. Alright. My first action is going to be moved to Ascending Path. My second action will be to spend 2 clues and move into Sentinel Peak. When Investigator enters Sentinel Peak, advance, so I'm going to do that first. I have 1 action left, which I'm going to make a note of there. Will the Change. Approaching the peak of Sentinel Hill, you are confronted by several citizens of Dunwich. The man in the center of their circle is desperately trying to complete a Latin incantation. It's not working. It's not working, Seth, one of the other men cries out. What are we going to do? The man in the center stops his chant and pulls out a cobbler's knife. The Father demands a blood sacrifice, he declares, and his face twists into a crazed expression. Before you can react, he slits his left wrist with the knife, dropping to his knees in agony. The headstone of the altar behind him splits open. A torrent of energy pours out of the stone, coalescing into the form of an open gate. Seth holds onto the stone in front of him to prevent himself from being sucked into the gate, but several of the others are startled and pulled through it. You barely manage to dig your heels in and grab hold of a nearby rock in time to resist the pull of the gate. Seth rises, wounded but alive. An expression of pride spreads across his painted face. Let this set aside Seth Bishop enemy into play at Sentinel Peak. With 1 damage per investigator on him. I'll get to all that in just a second. We'll go ahead. Oops. Weird. Alright. Act 3A. The gate opens. From the ruins of the headstone on the altar at the hill's peak, a gateway of churning, vibrant energy has appeared. A force like a hurricane erupts from the gate, bending trees and pulling debris into it. The howling of the gate drowns out all other sound. Somehow you must find a way to close the gate. Objective. Only investigators at Sentinel Peak may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and it takes 2 clues per investigator to advance this. Let's go ahead and read Sentinel Peak first. It is a 4-shroud location with 2 clues per investigator. Forced, when an investigator at this location draws a hex card, that investigator takes 1 damage and has a victory value of 2. Seth Bishop is a 5 combat, 3 health per investigator, 5 evade. He has a retaliate keyword and a victory of 1. Alrighty. So I've just moved in here. I'm going to go ahead and use the reaction on Ursula to investigate. So this will be, I'm going to take the attack of opportunity. So I'll take a damage and a horror. And I will investigate at a 4, 5 to 4. We'll say 5, 6, 7, 4. I'm going to go ahead and discard an Unearth the Ancients to make me 9 to 4. Chaos Bag. That's a skull. I'm not in an altered location, so that's just a -1. I'll use my last action to take the attack of opportunity, which I will take on myself. No, I'm going to put the damage on Rice. I'll take the horror. And I will investigate at a 4-5 to 4. So I'll say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 4. Chaos bag. That's a -1. That's the last clue that I need. I'll spend the 2 clues to advance. Peer into the abyss. You don't know how to close the swirling gate before you, and with each passing moment, the force from within it grows in strength. You fear that whatever entity the sorcerers have summoned from beyond approaches. With no time to spare, you turn to the open tome on the stone altar, and desperate for answers. This is a resolution 1. Alright, so yeah, I got through this. This is often a very difficult one, especially if you start getting surrounded by enemies. So yeah, or especially if you start getting some enemies out. But I didn't see any enemies this entire one, so that was definitely a saving grace. And I had a lot of cards in hand, so I could keep using higher ed at and especially like these locations. So like this 4, even these 3s. So that was pretty helpful. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and make my final playthrough of Beyond Time and Space, or whatever the next one's called. I can't remember. I'm going to try and make it a live playthrough, so kind of keep an eye out for that. I'll maybe try and post exactly when I'm going to do it in the subreddit before, like maybe the day before I do it. Right now, I'm thinking maybe Monday. We'll have to see. But definitely one day next week. But anyway, as usual, if you'd like to contact me, I'm around most of the places as Jacques Steampunk. If you like this video, of course, you can like it, subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, or if I saw that I happen to mess something up. And then, as usual, thanks for watching, and have a great day.